So he took a month out of his life to have one ceremony. One ceremony. So thank you for those elders that did that. Okay, circle medicine. Here we go. Circle medicine. It looks a lot like this. No one is in front of us. No one's behind us. No one's above us. Especially no one is below us. We are all equal here. It's about... No one's... There's this comment the other day, and you know, we really just have to go through this again. Just because some people have been here walking the red road for 10 years or 30 years, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if you have 1 day of recovery, 2 days, you know, we are all equal here, right? We have to understand that. No one is better. We all have different medicine. We all have, and that medicine looks like perspectives, right? Write that one down. The medicine, we all have different perspectives. So as we grow, we honor this beautiful, beautiful place, right? We honor this beautiful place. Sacred feminine. Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulties. So, sacred feminine. We understand that colonial world treats the sacred feminine a little differently and marginalizes. It sexualizes and marginalizes. You know, all that stuff. You are beautiful, powerful, and sacred here. We want you to know that. We want you to understand. We want this to be a safe place. We want to acknowledge that you are the life givers. I don't know how many other circles in the colonial world acknowledge this. Probably very few. I've been to a lot of churches, not one time have I said, you're sacred. Not one book, their holy book, saying, wow, you're really sacred, right? Like they just don't see that. That's part of the marginalization, right? You are the life givers, right? Let's take a moment and honor that. Let's take a moment and honor that we all have these different medicines. We all carry this unique medicine. We all look different, sound differently, but we all come from a different direction, right? Even in the same tribe, we all come from different directions, right? So let's just honor that beautiful place, that beautiful moment. This time, as an elder said one time, he was in recovery. He said we were all different. We are all beautiful flowers, different heights, sizes, and colors and shapes. We all, but the beautiful thing that we all bloom from the inside. We all bloom from the inside. That's beautiful. Okay, so moving right along. What time is it? Okay. Question of the day. There was a comment. A comment came in last week, and I didn't quite. I was gonna respond to it, and I said I'll respond to it. And then I responded to it a couple of days later. They responded back this morning, and they were talking about. Okay, the seven. Sure, hold on. Let's get talking about. Here we go. Why are there animals attached to the teachings? That was the basic question, right? Then the animals there are to help us to guide ourselves back to Mother Earth. That's why. And I don't really talk a lot. I should talk more about it, and I will talk more about it. So, you know, the seven sacred teachings, and let's acknowledge the fact that these animals in different areas, different regions, they're a little different, right? That's like the preamble statement. Right? So the Northeast, their animals look a little different than the Southwest, right? The Southwest looks a little different than the Northwest, right? Yeah, right. This is not about who's right or who's wrong, who has a better animal. This is none of that. That's a colonial thing that has to be left at the door as we come up here. So, so we were talking. I was talking to your friend. We talked a little bit about this honesty. So everything starts with the spirit. There's a spiritual thing called honesty. There's lessons, there's teachings, there's medicine, there's honesty. And up here in Treaty 4, Anishinaabe, it is the Sabe. The Sabe, as you would say it, is big people. Sasquatch, Bigfoot. It is ingrained in our society up here. So it's not just a thing out there, right? It has a genuine relationship with the people up here so much that it's in our medicine wheel, right? It is in the 7 teachings. It is one of the 7 teachings, which is honesty. Honesty as a protector. Honesty as we recognize others. Honesty as we recognize ourselves as part of a larger whole. And I need you to write that one down, right? So it's not just this mythical thing. We know it to be real, and we know it to be here, and we know it to be among us, and it's part of our tribe, our family, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So actually, you know what? We'll probably go over one of the, probably once a week, the teaching, like humility and the wolf. We'll probably do that like tomorrow, you know, a couple days down the line. So yeah, just kind of keep that going. It's kind of exciting, right? So okay, what we do here is we're actually kind of okay time. So what we do here is we read one of the books. We take a reading out of one of these books, which is from the Hollow Bone, and I recognize you see it backwards, and Daily Medicine. So we pick a reading out of one of these books, and we go through it, we break it down, we meditate with it, we sit with it. What these are doors to the spirit. We have to understand that. Everything begins with the spirit. There's doors to the spirit, and and everything up until now is really a beautiful setup. So it's really traditional what we've done now. So we've smudged, we said a good prayer, we set our intentions, and now it's time to really open up that door and really break down what the message is. Because let's just spirit, the medicines, they are begging for a relationship for us, to us. They're begging, right? And so let's, so the water, partnerships and allies. You know, we live in this humanity bubble that we think that we're the only things here, right? The only things that matter. There's so much other life that gives us life, that wants a relationship with us. We are here to build good relations. So, that being said, the preamble thing. So let's read this, and what's going to happen is we're going to read it. If you're new here, we're going to read this a couple times, and then we're going to break it down. So, and then we're going to develop what we call a general impression, and then that's just a starting point, and it is a starting point for all of us. And I encourage you all to write down your general impression. We're going to go over, which is from the Hollow Bone, March 1st. Some days we do wild card day. Some days we go on the day. So Whispers from the Hollow Bone, March 1st. Humanity must understand it takes great humility to honor, love, pray with and for those nations on Mother Earth that do not speak, look, or talk like us. Like the four-legged, the standing, the winged, the mineral fish, creeper crawler, slithering. Our connection begins here. What is your general impression? We'll read that again. Humanity must understand it takes great humility to honor, love, and pray with and for those nations on Mother Earth that do not speak, look, or talk like us. Like the four-legged, the standing, the winged, the mineral, the fish, the creeper crawler, the slithering. Our connection begins here. What is your general impression? This is really beautiful, really powerful. This is one of my favorites. Of course, I say that almost every day, but What is your general impression? How does this speak to you? How is Spirit guiding you? Remember, there's no right or wrong here. There's only a beautiful perspective right here, right? So you know, my general impression kind of begins at the end of this. New beginnings, new understanding, new connection. What we're here to do is build these beautiful connections, be good relations, be a good relative, right? Right. How can I be a good relative to you if I'm not a good relative to all? Right. This is about the all. This is about the medicine wheel. This is about connecting to the all. This is getting out of the illusion that as humanity is the only life on earth. Right? This is about building relationships with those things that we thought were resources. Right? Water is a spirit. It's not a resource. Like if you go into that colonial world, it is a resource. The wood, the water. All resources, right? Over here in this world, we have to understand they're beautiful, powerful relatives, and these relatives have a voice, a song, a dance. We have to understand this. So let's, okay. I'm already worried about the time here. I got 39 minutes or 29 minutes left, and I'm worried if I can like squeeze it all in. But we're going to take a run at it. Okay, humanity. Okay, kind of calling us out here, right? Humanity. Say, look, you're not the only life on Mother Earth. Humanity calling us out, calling our species out, right? So this is the Great Spirit saying, humanity, pay attention. Let's pay attention. Okay, must. That's a pretty powerful word, right? Must what? Must understand. What do they mean by understand? It means by like recognize that what they're really talking about is to connect. That's what we're doing here. We're connecting our hearts. We're connecting our hearts, our prayers with all others. Like that beautiful web of life. Thank you to the Spider Nation for demonstrating that to us. We are but a strand in the web of life. We are but a strand in the web of life. What kind of connection are we talking about here? What kind of connection? Let's bring, so it's just like an emotional, no, we're talking about the medicine, let's bring the medicine wheel in here, right? Let's bring the medicine wheel in here, right? Right. Spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, right there. Emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, that creates the whole, right there. The whole, right? That creates a place called wholeness. That wholeness creates a place of connection. And that connection creates a place of relationship. And that relationship creates a place of being a good relative, right? Right. So it ceases to be wood, ceases to be a resource. And now we understand it to be a relative. That's the end game. And remember, this is a process here. This is a process here. This doesn't happen overnight. But, you know, and they talk about this process here. It takes great humility. What is humility? It's one of the 7 teachings. What do I teach? What does grandfather taught me? It always begins with humility. Everything begins with humility, right? I can't understand love because I don't have humility. Because then it's off-centered. We don't know what it is, but we have to understand. It takes what humility? Great humility. So they're being a little bit redundant. Humility is already great. There's a place of humility already within us, right? Like if we come from Mother Earth, the teachings are already in us. I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm here to remind you that we are this place of great humility. It just by this thing called the colonial world, it has been covered up with their religions. It has been covered up, So we've really come to a place now where we go to a park and it's more like a museum, right? It's like, oh my God, there's a tree. Oh yeah, look, let's take a selfie by a tree. Like, wow, no, we have a symbiotic relationship. We have a symbiotic relationship with the seen and unseen. That means we have a symbiotic relationship with humility. Write that one down. Where's my pen? Here. There's a pen. We have a symbiotic relationship with humility. We have a symbiotic relationship with water. We have a symbiotic relationship with the air. We have a symbiotic relationship with the Sandy Mason. If they stop breathing, guess who else stops breathing? We stop breathing. So if they die, we die. So why would we cut down another tree? Why would we do that? Why would we cut down another tree? Why would we cut down another flower? You know, we just had Valentine's Day, that colonial holiday, right? And there were actual people out there that got really upset that I said, why don't you plant a flower instead of killing a flower? They got really, there's a bunch of people that got really upset. They went on a smear campaign because of this, right? That's that colonial thinking, right? Because they wanted to kill a flower so that they could enjoy it, watch it die for a couple of days, right? There's nothing romantic or spiritual about that, right? So I said, well, why don't you just give a flower and put that on the table, right? The thing is, the teaching behind the teaching here about that little story I said, right? And the more we walk this road, the more we understand that we have to protect the prayer. Right? They can smear me all they want, but I'm still going to protect the prayer. How many, and when we walk with humility, guess what we do? We protect the prayer. When we protect the prayer, we protect what we used to call the resource, and now we call it the relative. That's the journey through here. That's the journey. That's a beautiful journey, They don't teach humility over in the colonial world because they know that it will create a beautiful relationship, this place of harmony and balance, right? So the teaching Beyond and Beyond is about us getting to this place of harmony and balance. We just don't do this to look cool, right? Right? And where does it start? It starts with one. It starts with planting one and maybe not killing one, right? Just for some silly, colonial holiday, right? Right? Why don't we plant one? I think that's a really good idea. And then we will all become good relatives, right? Right? We just talked about to honor, to love, and here it is, man. Like they give us a beautiful roadmap to humility teaches us to honor, right? Sometimes we don't know what it is that we're on it. We just have to walk with this humility, right? Let's take Valentine's Day. Just don't kill anything, man. Christmas time, don't kill a freaking pine tree, man, right? Right? Just because it looks cool in your house for a month doesn't mean that it's a good thing to destroy, right? Right? Humility says leave it there, right? I don't care, buy a fake one. I don't know, give fake roses, you know, but these are the things, right? These are directly the things that the colonial world says all right, and over on this side, it's not all right, right? Because it doesn't build. There's nothing honoring, nothing honor about that. There's no love there. There's something else, right? Right. And more traditionalists would say, and this is what they tell me, you know, what they do is they have murder there. You know, so I don't even get it from the colonialists. Like, you know, I hear it from the traditionalists too, because you know, that's where I'm at, right? You know, to the traditionalists, they can't understand why you would kill stuff like that, right? Right? And it says, here it is. I want you to underline this: to pray with and for. Right? There's two different things going on here, right? There's a significant difference when we pray with and then we pray for. There's a significant difference. I need you to write that down. I need you to write that down. Right? Right. That's why we go to ceremony. We have to sit in there. Everything begins with prayer. When we call them in, they come. When we sit with them, it's different. Yeah. Yeah. We have to understand that. We have to do both. We have to do both. Right? How many of us out there are wounded? And then an elder comes along, we start walking the red road, and then they say, well, we have to pray for him. And I'm like, well, you know, like if you're anything like me, I said, no, I'm not praying for those people that harm me, that abuse me. I'm not praying for them. No. It's not them that will remain sick. It's me. And that sickness that sickness is lack of connection. And connection is what keeps me. Connection to what? Connection to life, to love, to breath. When we're scared, when we're afraid, we won't do that. We hold our breath, right? I catch people all the time in ceremony, no. And I say, and I tell people, look, you got to breathe here, right? You got to breathe, right? You know, we go to ceremony to learn how to breathe again, right? To breathe wholly. I'm grateful for my last breath, and I'm hopeful for my next. And when we don't pray for our enemies, we have a hard time with that next breath. Write that one down, right? This is powerful. We get to breathe. When the elders told me you get to breathe again for the first time, I didn't understand what they were saying. This is what they were saying, though. And when I started to pray for those people that hurt me, those people that took me away from my mom, and then there was an elder up here that said you have to go with them and you have to pray with them. So I had to go to the place that I was taken, stolen from, the place of the first wounds, and I had to pray with them. So I went to the hospital, the very hospital that they took me away from, the very first wound, and I had to pray with them. That's why they told me to go. That's why they told me to go. So with and for is so powerful. So we have to include them in our opening, in the prayers of the day. And this doesn't say here that it's comfortable to do that. It doesn't say that. It says we have to pray with and for. And how many people out there, you know, are holding their breath because they're not praying for their enemies, are the ones that are forgiving the unforgivable. Begins with prayer. Everything begins with spirit. I love you. I want you to have a really good, beautiful, powerful life. I want you to breathe again for the first time. You know, breathe again. Because when we don't pray for those people that hurt us, we are holding our breath. We are withholding life from us. You understand? Right. 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 And then after a while, probably doesn't happen right away, but then we realize that they were wounded too. Right? A little teaching beyond the teaching. Right? That the people that wounded us, they were wounded. And, you know, let's go back to the reason. Yeah, let's go back to this reason, right? No, it stops here. You know, in the opening prayer it says it doesn't have to be the way it's always was. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is why we say that. Doesn't have to, so we don't pass along, you know, the wounds, the trauma, the abuse. To who? The next 7 generations, right? Right? It can stop here. It is stopping here. We are doing incredible, beautiful, powerful things here because we're not only praying with it, talking about it, we're ceremony about it, we're talking in a sacred way. We mean no harm in what we're doing. We're doing this in a really good and beautiful way, right? And let me acknowledge that it's okay not to be okay during this process, right? We have women's groups, we have men's groups out there, we have grandmothers, Muslims, and cookums out there that understand what we are going through. We don't have to go through it alone. You know, there's no lone wolves in healing. Write that one down. Like if you're sitting in a room for 20 years, you know, praying about this, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know what kind of results you're going to get, right? But I know when we sit in a circle like this, you know, incredible things happen. We talked about it the other day. The miracles happen, right? This is a way. This is a miracle maker here. This is the reading here. This is a miracle making. This is why we're doing this. This creates us a better life. Give me a thumbs up if you want to live a really good, beautiful, powerful life. Right? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a heart, give me a thumbs up if you want to live a really good, beautiful life. But a price has to be paid. We got to put some skin in the game. And this is what they're talking about. We have to take some unseen medicine. Humility. We got to sit with it. We got to walk with it. We got to pray with it and for it. We got to pray with it for those things that hurt us, right? And for when and for those nations here. And here we go again. Those nations. Well, God, we're not halfway. So when and for those nations on Mother Earth, including Mother Earth, that do not speak or look like us. We've included that in the opening prayer because that's a pathway to a good life. That's what's missing in those teachings and those religions over there. But in indigenous spiritual, the Red Road, we can't exclude anything. That's why it's circle medicine. What I do for you, I do for myself. When I honor the tree nations, when I sit with the tree nations. How many of you remember that story, I am all heart all the time, from the Standing Nation? We get that kind of medicine. That's unbelievable. You want to know how to live a good life? Listen to those, spend some time with, understand, build those relationships. I want you to have a beautiful relationship with the ones that offer us breath. How about that? Is that unbelievable? They're speaking to us. They have a language. Not all language is spoken. Is that unbelievable? They have a song. We talked about that recently. They have a song. They have a little sway. Like you ever see a tree and it's just like there's no wind but it's moving? That's their freaking dance. I don't know if you know that, man. You ever see that? And that puts me in a place of awe, and I love that place of awe because it's teaching me what, you know what? It teaches me to be all heart all the time, to notice those little things. You know, like without that, without spending time, like it's not going to send us a text message or email or a voice message, but we have to go out there and we have to spend time, sit with, we have to offer praise and gratitude. Thank you for giving us life. And that's just one tree. There's a lot of trees out there. There's a lot of flowers out there. You know, I was stunned. I tell you what, this bear was stunned when Grandfather Tony told me to talk to a flower. I was stunned. I was like horrified, mortified. I'm like, this guy's lost his freaking mind. But I've seen Grandfather Tony does like some freaking incredible things, man. Like move the skies and move the clan, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, Tony, but I'm gonna go over there anyway just because I've seen some incredible things from you. Right? And I don't know what it is. At like the end of the day, there was a guy that told me, I must have been doing it for 2-3 years, right? You know, I'm still slipping sometimes. I'm still just like acting out sometimes, right? You know, but she said, how much has Grandfather Tony changed your life? And I'm like, you know, how much does sitting here change your life? Right? How many? One story can change your life, right? We come here every day. I said, my life has changed because I'm sitting with Grandfather Tony. My life has changed because I'm listening to Grandfather Tony. My life has changed because I'm sitting with and praying before Grandfather Tony. And then that person said, you know, the flower's the same thing. And I'm like, and I've never heard that before. And I said, okay. So I went to this little, I think it was like a dandelion. It was a little, really beautiful flower. I thought it was a weed. Now it's like a relation, right? Right? So I'm sitting here, right? Blooming from the inside. It doesn't come from the outside in like that colonial thing. We can't dress up on the outside. That's what they do. They dress up the outside and we rot on the inside, right? So we have the nice car, the house, you know, the money, and that's all. That's all peripheral exterior stuff, right? Has nothing to do, you know, with the inside, right? Like I'm looking at my inside, matching with everybody outside, and I fail. And I fall short every time, right? I feel like a failure because that's what that world teaches us. But in this world, you know, we have to sit with that medicine, and the medicine is, you know, we have to sit with that flower and have that flower teach us, talk to us. That flower, just like the tree, has a song and dance. And it wants you to have that song and dance. And you know, without that tree, without that flower, how can we find our own song and dance? How can we find that? We can't. There's no way. There's no way. Like if we listen to a preacher all day, there's no way. If we read one book all day, there's no way. But if we sit with, and basically, running out of time. But if we sit with basically all the, you know, we could be here 1,000 lifetimes and still only know a little bit. But, you know, let's start with one. Let's start with one. Who is willing? Give me a thumbs up to pick a medicine out there. Pick one medicine out there and begin to build a beautiful relationship with it. Begin to build a beautiful relationship. Who is out there willing, you know, to do that? Right. I was broken, beaten, and battered. I went to that one flower, and I'm just, you know, I feel stupid talking to that flower, you know. 27 years ago, or 25 years ago, right? I'm sitting there feeling really stupid to talk to that flower, but you know what? I did it anyway. I felt stupid talking in the fire, and the fire finally spoke. I finally realized that when I was offering tobacco to that fire changed. And when that fire changed, guess who else changed? I did. Write that one down. When you perceive the medicine differently, guess who else perceives the medicine? You do. I think Wayne Dyer said the things you change, what you look at, it changes you or something like that. When he's going to, like, you know, correct me on that, you always do, right? But it's that beautiful perception. What you perceive changes, and then what really changes is you, right? And what they're really saying in here is we connect to that thing called life. When we connect to life, when we connect to life, when we understand that this life is life, has life, offers life, then our perception changes. That's the short of it here. I got 7 minutes left. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do this. Finish it up in time. I love you. Okay. those nations on Mother Earth, a lot of nations, not just the two-legged nations, right? So let's forget all those other different nations. Let's talk about the four-legged. God, I wish I could go to every one of these. We talked about the standing, the winged nations, right? The mineral nations, the stone people, the fish nations. You know, we could take a run at any one of these, and they would make our life infinitely better and infinitely connected to. So there is no finish line. There's no diploma. There's no degree. You're not going to walk across the stage. There's this gentle, quiet understanding that everything is beautiful. You know, when Grandfather, this is what Grandfather started. He's a really, I don't know how he did that, but he said, here, look, I want you to go out and I want you to pray to everything beautiful out there. I think I've told this story a lot. So, and 30 years ago, I'm sitting there thinking like my mind was so wounded. One, I thought he was kicking me away because I was an unhealed victim, and unhealed victims, always have that victim mentality. So I'm thinking that he's kicking me away, right? Like he's abandoned me, he doesn't love me, he's like, all that. But what he was really doing, he was telling me to go to the medicines, right? When he told me to go to the fire, he was telling me to go to one of the greatest teachers that we ever have. And all these nations, they are all our teachers, right? They're not medicines, they're our teachers, right? I want you to write that one down. All these nations, I want you to circle, like every one of these things down here. They're not only medicines, they are our teachers. Write it out. This is like a billboard thing. Well, it's not like a little thing on the refrigerator. They are our teachers. They teach us how to live a really good, beautiful, powerful life. And the thing is, it only gets deeper, better. Depth and weight when we sit with these. I'm kind of jumping around here. Okay, that do not speak, look, or talk like us. Okay. Okay. Our connection begins here. So we're creating, there's a great opportunity here. That's another thing. It's not only connection, it's an opportunity to live a really good, beautiful, powerful life. I think that's a really good idea. I think for a broken guy like me, that was a really good idea. Right? I pass this medicine to you, coming from Spirit, coming from Grandfather Tony, coming from all directions. I want now is a good time here to build these good relations. Right. This is like perfect timing. Right. Let's take a look at the seasons for a second. Like like in this past season, we're supposed to identify those things that no longer serve, right? Maybe it's judgment, sometimes it's hate, maybe it's we won't pray for her. Okay, so now we're praying for our enemy, right? There's a void there, right? Fill this void up with the good medicine, right? Let's bring life back to life. Let's bring life back to you. The majority of the messages that I get are loneliness, sadness, depression, right? Because we live in that colonial world that breaks us apart every day, right? And we give our power away like confetti, we really do, right? We give our power away in judgments, opinions, gossip, right? Right? Let's replace that. Let's simply replace that with standing nation medicines. I want you, like here's your homework assignments, to go to offer tobacco medicine, prayer medicine. And I want to hear some of your medicine. I need help. What kind of medicine can you help me with? Right? That's basically what I asked at the same. I want to see your heart, right? How about that question? Right? I want to see your heart. You can ask it to anything that has spirit, has a heart. But it looks a little different than the human heart, the boom, the boom, the boom, right? Like that Tree Nation said, I am all heart. I can't even make that up. That's unfathomable. That's so beautiful, so powerful. I am all heart all the time. I cannot make it. I'm a pretty clever guy, you know, a pretty creative guy, but I can't create that stuff. That's just so beautiful, powerful. So go out there, you know, have fun with this. Go offer yourself. Our connection begins here. We, us, and our, right? That's so beautiful. You know, the first word in the last sentence is our. You know, like again, I'm running out of time, but this is volume. That speaks volumes. That has a whole different meaning now that we have included everyone, right? So it begins with humanity, where we just think that we're the only living, breathing things. You know, we're the greatest things in sliced bread, right? We really do, right? But then the whole thing changes when it says our at the end. It doesn't say humanity's connection begins here. No, it doesn't say that. It says our. And what is the our? The standing, the wing, the mineral, the fish, creeper crawlers, and the flood. That's the our. That's the we. That's the us that they talk about. That's the us in the big. When you include this hour here, when you include this hour right here in your prayers, everything, this is a game changer. This is a game changer. You will be able to see, love, hear things completely differently, right? So, anyway, I don't know how this hour goes so quick. So, all right. So let's move to a couple of announcements here. Hold on, a couple of announcements here. Okay, here we go. Women's Group, International Women's Healing Circle. Women, please, when women support each other, incredible things happen. That is a Zoom thing. So women. So please go check that out. Denise Miller, she does an incredible job. Volunteers needed. MMIW. So there was a question. What? Like why are you doing this? Well, that's part of our prayers. You know, that's the action of the prayers, right? That's why we do that. So if you want to support, we have two projects going on. A t-shirt project and a nonprofit. Committees are set up. We have a volunteer this week. That is absolutely beautiful. If you don't have a lot of time, but you would still like to support, we do have a way that we can accept donations. It's a PayPal thing. I will put that in the feed there. Put that in the feed there, please, and thank you. Hold on here. And we also have YouTube, Standing Bear the Author, my YouTube thing. So it's one of those things that you kind of ask for because, you know, sitting here for an hour, that's a long time, right? So I've condensed these teachings down to, I tried to teach it to about like 10 minutes, or really like 20 minutes, because I just can't keep my mouth shut now. It's kind of like, you know, so the gentle teachings, so go like and subscribe over there, and it's kind of like a library, so just kind of scroll through, and you want to hear something more, like some additional teachings, so please go over there, and we're going to really close this out. I really appreciate your time and you coming here. And we're just going to close it out with the standing. I think CNA's telling us it's time to move on here. So my name's Kanipa Makwa, Standing Bear, Soda Tribe. The last word is, this ceremony may end, but a ceremony in you does not end. So let's take what we lived here, loved here, and listened to here, and let's take it out to the four winds out there. It does us no good to be all spiritual here if we don't take it out there. And the final word is, I said that like 3 times. The final word is, if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much. Let's have a great day, everyone.